We just returned from a meeting and we were asked who were the unsung heroes in the office, in our opinion. Now I suppose this is going to vary. It's going to vary per team, per organisation, per individuals, but the context of a discussion that was had in the meeting was how to evaluate performance and how to make sure more people get involved with the content and the context of what's being discussed in any particular meeting. So we raised from content and material that we've got and from studying this in the past to start focusing on the people or the employees that were felt to be introverted. The discussion of introverts and extroverts can be very complex, and it's quite a wide debate. I think we'll all recognize somebody that's extroverted, typically being somebody that's loud, seeking attention, the life and soul of the party. People can debate, they've got big egos, these people. Others will debate that they have insecurities. Although in lots of cases, these people can be very good people, very sound, very caring people. They're just wired to be in the middle of things. And that's how they are. But there are those conceptions of people that are extroverted. But the people that come across as being introverted are those that are typically quiet, maybe shy, maybe they don't speak too much, and they carry those traits with them. Even though in lots of cases, or in most cases, people as human beings, as a species, are a little bit of both. Some people will sway towards one variation, others will sway towards the other. But typically speaking, we will go between the two extremes, even if we're known to be one versus the other. There are medical circumstances where someone is typically one and nothing more than that, but just trying to keep this conversation high level, just recording between meetings, just because it was an interesting topic and there's a few minutes spur. Helps to prove that these podcast sessions are very much unscripted, but just in the heat of the moment and just trying to put something out there that could add value. But typically speaking, we are a little bit of both. We'll just sway to one or the other variant more often. So extroverts will like their introverted space, and introverts will also be extroverts on occasion. And that can be when they're in surroundings that are more safe to them, with close friends or family, and then possibly going back to being more introverted when there are other pressures or unfamiliarities around them. But one thing we've noticed, and it's just advice to put out there, is that somebody that's introverted will typically spend more time thinking about a subject than others. Not always, but it wouldn't surprise you to discover this and to realize how much an introverted person will spend more time on a subject, especially if it's something that's very sensitive, or it's something new, or product launch, something that means something not just to them, but to everybody else, because they can have these very deep and caring notions. The thing that an introverted person will typically do in that case is they will take ideas away from a meeting, think about them, digest them, They will come to conclusions in terms of how those ideas, those topics might affect them, but also other people or the organization as well. And they might only form conclusions on that topic a day or two later. Now, an extroverted person might also do the same. This is classic behavior for people when they've had time to think about something. But those people that are extroverted, that come across as being more busy, will possibly have moved on several steps by them, several points, so that they would have got more involved in other things over the next 2 to 3 days. Whereas the introverted person will no doubt still come across as being productive if they're valued as a key member of the team, but they're still considering what was discussed or raised in a team meeting 1 or 2 days before. They may also not have actually raised something in the meeting that first came to mind because of being introverted and not wanting to be crowded out by extroverted people or other people in the room that might not have been as comfortable to them. But more often than not, they've taken a lot of time, care and interest in a sensitive subject to then form conclusions a day or two later. Therefore, what we'll often say is waiting till the next team meeting to see if anybody's got any feedback, as quite often is how team meetings go, especially from week to week or so on and so forth. What you might want to consider is, are you spending enough time going back to the people that are typically introverted or at least display introverted behaviors or characteristics, and have you formed the right circumstance around them to really extract that feedback, that really important feedback that they're no doubt wanting to say and to feed into a process to allow them to do so? Because asking for feedback the week later when everybody has probably got certain conclusions will possibly only mean that those introverted people will find themselves in a similar context as they did the week before, of struggling to say what they really want to say because they're in a group context. Now again, there are lots of variants to this. Everybody is different, team dynamics, different ways of communicating, but so often everybody's so busy that things just run in momentum from meeting to meeting with other tasks and procedures and other meetings in between. And unless people feed back at individual meetings, then feedback doesn't come out at all. But is that something to consider? Because you might just be surprised that when you take different time out with people with introverted characteristics, you might just be surprised with the depth and the layers of information and feedback that they will then give and are prepared to give that they might not otherwise be able to give, even if you think of a team meeting and if it's a safe environment to do so. Sometimes introverts still feel a little bit crowded out of that. Therefore, they really can be, and in lots of cases just aren't realized to be, the unsung heroes of either a team, an office, an organization. You just need to elicit and help them with the feedback that they want to give by generating different circumstances and a different environment around them.